This is the DJ Electric Pour-Over Kettle from Lafeeca, so named because, well, it looks like a vinyl record player. It's super tactile with switches and dials, but more importantly, how useful is this in making coffee? Let's take a look. I've been using this kettle for about a month now to make pour-over coffee using a Chemex, and let me show you around. Now, the kettle itself is a gooseneck kettle with a flow spout, and yeah, it gives a nice flow. The kettle is a one-piece casting of 304-18-8 stainless steel, and it has a few nice touches, like the Cool Touch lid. So there are vent holes on the kettle to prevent the lid overheating, and yes, it works surprisingly well. The lid always stays cool. I also enjoy the grip on the handle. It's quite fun to hold, but it's the DJ deck where things get really interesting. It's an undeniably fun experience to play with. There are switches that give a satisfying click. There's a dial with plenty of haptic feedback, and the record player arm, the hold quick switch, that cycles between two heating modes. Now, this could easily have been a simple switch too, but you know what? I'm totally down for this eccentric design choice. Now, the kettle itself rests on a silicone base. One oddity I did notice was the insanely short power cord. Lafeeca actually call this out in the manual, saying it's to reduce risk from becoming entangled or tripping over the cord, and I guess that's valid. But I did end up needing to use an extension cable anyway. So what can this base do? Well, there are some features here that, as a pour-over coffee brewer, I'm finding pretty useful. Now, the base features an LCD screen, and that prominently shows the current temperature in the kettle. And you set the desired temperature by turning the dial. You set temperatures in individual 1-degree increments, which is fantastic. If I want my brewing water at 95 Fahrenheit or 93 Fahrenheit, I can literally dial that in. Now, one of the switches cycles between Celsius and Fahrenheit, so that's there if you need to change that. Once the temperature is dialed in, you push down on the dial and the screen will show a red flame, and that indicates the kettle is heating. And it's pretty efficient. So I went from 26 Celsius to my desired temperature of 95 Celsius in 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Now, this is where the arm comes in. It can either be set to quick mode or hold mode. In quick mode, the set temperature is held for 5 minutes, cycling the heat on and off as necessary. In hold mode, the kettle will hold the set temperature for an hour, and that fits very well with my workflow of turning on the kettle and kind of forgetting about it, then coming back a bit later to hot water ready to brew. Now, in my testing, hold mode would let the temperature drop by about 3 degrees Celsius before turning the heat back on again. So that's something to keep in mind if you're trying to be super precise about temperature. Also, while the heating element turns off a degree or so before reaching the set temperature, I did notice the kettle would sometimes overshoot by 1 degree before falling back down to temperature. But the nice thing is, the LCD screen always reports the actual temperature in the kettle, so you can keep an eye on this. Now, the final switch is the stopwatch. I use this every time I make a pour-over coffee, so I can make sure I'm performing a 30-second bloom, and I can track my extraction time. And then finally, the system turns off automatically after 15 minutes of inactivity, but if you want to manually turn it off, you just hold down the dial for 3 seconds. I've been really pleased with the coffee I'm making with this brewing water, which I'm crediting to the precise temperature control. I always know exactly what temperature my brewing water is at. So that's the DJ kettle. It's a fun looking piece of brewing gear, but most importantly for me, it's delivered exactly what I want. It's a kettle that heats quickly, it's a kettle that lets me dial in an exact temperature, and it's a kettle that can hold that water at the temperature I set. I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks for watching.